Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode from Leche League Canada. Today, we're honored to be speaking with Kendra and Cyndel, a married couple who've shared their breastfeeding journey through induced lactation. This story is one of love, intention, and connection, and we're so grateful they're here to share it with us. Before we begin, we'd like to acknowledge that we are virtually gathering today from many different places across this land now known as Canada. We recognize that this land has been and continues to be home to Indigenous peoples. We honor the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples who have cared for these lands, waters, and communities long before colonization and who continue to do so today. As we gather for a conversation centered on nurturing, feeding, and supporting families, we also want to acknowledge the teachings and traditions of milk medicine, the deep ancestral knowledge within many Indigenous communities that recognize human milk as more than nourishment. It's a powerful medicine, a connector of generations, and a symbol of care, strength, and survival. We commit to listening, learning, and walking alongside Indigenous communities with respect and relationship. We invite you to take a moment to reflect on the land you're joining from today and to learn more about the Indigenous nations, languages, and teachings of that territory. So, hi, Cyndel. Hi, Kendra. So, why don't we
Hello.
start at the beginning? Can you tell us a little bit about your journey to parenthood?
You want to go ahead?
No.
I do this a lot. You do it.
All right. Okay, journey to parenthood. My journey to parenthood pretty well started the second that Cyndel and I had met because our oldest was already in the picture and pretty well fell in love pretty quickly and started parenthood there because as somebody who originally at one point in my life decided I didn't want kids, I fell in love with Cyndel and our oldest daughter, and that quickly changed because the maternal instinct kicked in.
There we go. All right. So, for me, I decided that I was going to have a first marriage, I guess. Um, and with that person, I got pregnant with Lennox, like donor conceived, and 9 months after Lennox was born, the person that I had a child with was gone. Left, decided parenting was not for them. Um, and yeah, so a lot of that's a blur now. Now that our oldest is almost 10. But at about, I'm gonna say, like, she was a few weeks when like I started going to the Leche League meetings. Um, so through my separation, through like journeying into becoming a single parent, the Leche League was actually kind of my support system through it all.
Oh, that's good to
And
hear.
that's just the first kid.
I see, and you have multiple kids, right?
Yes, we have three now.
Wow. So that is a very busy house right now.
Yes. It's loud most of the time. They're at school right now, but for the most part, it's just loud.
So tell us a little bit about your family.
So we have Lennox, our oldest, and then I guess about pretty quickly into mine and Kendra's relationship, I was like, by the way, I want more kids. If you're not down, get out. It's like a hard thing for me. Like I don't want just one. Um, and so we actually, probably about a year after we'd been together for about a year, we were like, let's start trying. So we did, and we started trying with me first, and then we had a loss. And during that process, because we still had a donor on standby, I was like, "You want to try?" Kendra's like, "Sure." And then she got pregnant, with our son Levine. And then through her trying, Kendra's a twin, and we're like, it'd be super fun if we had two really close in age. It didn't work out that way. It took about 2 years for us to conceive our youngest. So our youngest two are 18 months apart. So she carried our middle and I carried our youngest son.
Wow.
And now we have the three of them.
When did you first learn about induced lactation, and what made you consider this as part of your family's plan?
Uh, I don't even remember where I would have first heard about it because it was probably Denise, I'm not gonna lie. She was pretty on me about everything. She was on me about becoming a Leche League leader. I think Lennox was 9 months, and she's like, Cyndel, you have to do this. You have to do this, Cyndel. Like, I'm gonna help you because she knows I'm super ADHD. Like, my memory is gone half the time. So even once a year, she messaged me. She's like, you need to update your stuff, Cyndel. Like, let's go. Um, but yeah, like just I think I started like doing the research for becoming a leader when Lennox was 9 months old, and then after she was a year, like we kind of did the rest of it. But I think just along that it was like Denise sharing stories to me, like, oh, look at what this couple did, or like look at this, and then it's like, and it was never even like Kendra wasn't even pregnant yet, and it was just like already in my mind as like something that people do. And so when Kendra was pregnant, I like we didn't even like overly talk about it. It was kind of like one of those like, oh, I should induce lactation. She's like, yeah. And yet, like, just because we were so involved with the Leche League already, and like Kendra was already like being dragged to volunteer at like events and stuff. um yeah, like it was like second nature to like even think about it, like, yeah.
Yeah.
It just came naturally.
Yeah, like well, I did the research, but like the thought was like a natural thought. Like it wasn't like a sit down conversation, like maybe we should discuss doing this. It was like a hey, I should do this. And it was just like, yeah, that makes sense. Like we should.
What did it look like for you, physically and emotionally and even logistically? Like, how did that work? The shared nursing. Sorry, I'll clarify.
You want to jump on
So,
that?
okay, so like shared nursing when it came to Levine because I carried him. Um, I was like primary feeds like through the night, whatever. But then there would be like sometimes where I was like, okay, things are getting a little raw and I need like a little break, or like I'm so exhausted I need to like have a minute to lay down. And during that time, Sid would be like, that's fine. And then she would be able to nurse him when he would like fuss and be hungry. And like it was more like a I was like the main meal, and then Cinda was like the dessert to like finish topping up type thing. It was like a she would yeah like the app or I was like the main course, and then the dessert to like just finish. I don't know, topping him up when he was still hungry, and I was like I don't know busy doing something. It just worked out that
So
way.
I didn't have a full supply. I tried the whole like pumping every 3 hours. Like we tried the domperidone, like it was not and then the doctor said that there's something's up with my heart and I couldn't be on the domperidone. So, but I was still continuing the pumping, which if you don't like pumping, I don't know what to tell you because it sucked. Like that part sucked for me. I hated it. I hated pumping. But I did it. And so then when he was born, I had just like such a like small supply that it was easy to be like the comfort nurser. So we did wait a bit. Kendra was expressing colostrum and stuff before she went into labor. Um, and I was not nursing him very much in the beginning because I was pretty adamant, like, we need to make sure that you have a full supply. We're gonna wait 6 weeks. Like, I will comfort nurse him like once a day, but you're gonna need to like express milk at the same time. Like, so we had a pretty good system until Kendra's like supply was fully established. Um, and then by like 9 months, I believe, is when Kendra was trying to go back to work. And then, well, it was 2020, so we know what happened after that. Um, but then that's when I kind of started nursing him more just to make things easier. And he didn't like a bottle that
Yeah,
much
he hated the
anyways. So
bottle.
He
But
said,
you
why
also,
bother, right?
Yeah.
exactly. She also though like for emotional, like the first day he was home, it was like a I want to see if he'll latch type thing. And then like we got him to latch on Cyndel like once like on the first day or whatever. And then I feel like that also like helped create a bond and whatever because Cyndel was also dealing with like postpartum depression, even though she wasn't the one who carried.
Turns out that's a thing.
It
Which I
is.
learned the hard way.
It
Yeah, I
absolutely
didn't
is.
realize that until I was in it. And it was also the first day, literally the day Kendra gave birth. It was either that night or the next morning. I had somebody that I thought was a friend, um, message me online to tell me how gross I was. Because I should not refer to him as my son because he was not. I didn't carry him. He had no relation to me. So um, that was a difficult thing to go through. And then I kind of spiraled from there. And yeah, nursing him there, even though a small amount in the early days, definitely helped with the depression.
That's good. And I mean, you do bring up that topic that you don't necessarily need to give birth to have postpartum depression. And it can be just as significant for the non-birthing partner as it is for the birthing partner as well. So that sounds like it was a really challenging situation. Not only were you dealing with two babies or two children, postpartum depression, shared nursing, and a pandemic all thrown into one. That sounds like
Yeah.
quite the storm there.
It was a good
Yes.
time.
And then you
That's
decided
interesting.
to have another one.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. Um, we also didn't realize at the time, the difficulty that multiple children came with. Like, because we were still trying to get pregnant with Sloan through the pandemic, because we were convinced that it would be over soon and everything would go back to normal. Um,
Fair.
but we were both home. So we were both home through the pandemic. And then our oldest was only in kindergarten. So school for her was like, send a picture to your teacher of a flower that you saw today. Like it was
Oh,
so easy. Like the beginning of the pandemic for us was just like a fun time. We were just hanging out at home with our kids. We were going like hiking. We were like staying away from people that we usually have to see and then we didn't have to. Um, but then like after that, it wasn't until the fall of 2020 where like things started to like set in, like the pandemic issues were like, oh, okay, like life is hard now, like we should probably stop trying to like get pregnant. We decided to move out of our house, and then after we decided to move out of our house and stop trying is the month that we found out I was pregnant after 2 years of trying.
oh,
Yeah,
isn't
so
that
we
the
were like,
way?
oh, we're surprised, and people are like, you're a lesbian, you can't be surprised. I'm like, after 2 years of trying and then giving up, and then finding out I'm pregnant, yeah, no, that's still a big surprise, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have support from your community with regards to this or healthcare providers? What did your support systems look like?
Like through the pandemic or like before?
Even I would say just as a family that is shared nursing, induced lactation, what kind of support did you get with that?
Um, well, we definitely had like Denise and the Leche League support through that. Um, Outside of that, like I don't think anybody really
Was like a big support,
y-
but there wasn't like
nobody was
and
like actively fighting us on it. Like
no.
there was we would get I d- we've read some like not so great things that people have to say about it. Like I've read people's comments online about stuff like that, but like personal family and friends type thing. Um Nobody ever said anything negative.
Oh,
We would get some comments like oh, that must be nice. Like, from moms who you can tell were probably exhausted.
and struggling on their own. Maybe they didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
have the support where we were able to like actively support each other. There was 4 places for babies to get
Yeah.
milk at any point.
My favorite though is when like men would be like, I would do that if I could. And I'm like, oh, that's so great. Do you want me to help you? Because it's possible. Um, and then they would stare at me blankly. And I'm like, it's not. Like I've helped like trans women to be able to like induce lactation, and like if you have nipples, like we can figure this out for you. And they didn't really want the help. So they were,
It was a
yeah.
empty I wish.
Yeah. So you can't do that with me, I guess, because I will help you lactate.
Oh my goodness, that's it's actually quite funny. I can't imagine the looks on their faces when you were saying that, right? But hearing you say that, Kendra, that you hear it from the moms that would sound exhausted that didn't have that support system in place. And you said there were 4 different places where babies could actually get milk. So yeah, I think that highlights even just the lack of support that as parents, as moms, that we walk into unknowingly when we're having our babies,
Mhm.
right? Um,
Exactly.
did so I guess did you did you do induced lactation or shared nursing for your third one as well?
Yes, but not like the process was easier because like Levine was still nursing. So
Okay.
when Sloan was born, it was like
The
the
supply was
easiest.
already there.
Yeah. So instead of we kind of had fully given up on like the pump at that point because
Yeah.
I don't like that machine anyways. But it was kind of like if one of us would nurse one, we would kind of switch the other. So instead, like, while I was trying to develop my supply, if Kendra were to nurse Sloan, I would just nurse Levine. And then it kind of just worked out that way. Kendra also went back to work pretty quickly after
Yeah,
Sloan was born. And then
2 weeks or so.
after that, I kind of became I don't even like the main milker. Like I don't.
The milker.
Yeah. And then I was co-nursing both Sloan and Levine.
Yeah, and I was just there for like nighttime bed
Yeah.
nursing,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So
So
that's
I
kind
would
of
kind
how it
of,
worked, is daytime Cyndel kind of took on the role of primary. um Milker seems like not the right word in this situation.
if
um
you have a better option,
I think so, yeah. The primary parent who fed the baby from their body. That seems like a lot of words. And
yeah.
then at night, you and Kendra would kind of share it. Is that worked out?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I would so Sloan was pretty colicky. Like she
Oh yeah.
pretty much from like 4 p.m. till 11 p.m. it was like scream crying. She's also the one who made us decide we wouldn't be carrying any more children. Um
There's something about the
but
third baby.
yeah, so it was like I would try to get her down, but then when I had just had way too much, Kendra would take over, and then we would kind of like switch kids, and then I would go snuggle Levine, and Kendra
Yeah.
would kind of
Like
calm Sloan back down to a point where I could even go back to her.
Oh,
then I would as soon as I was able to get away from Levine and he was sleeping, I would go help Cyndel and I would like take Sloan and I would like rock her and stand because like Cyndel is also chronically ill. So like she couldn't stand and rock her for 3 hours straight without being in pain. So I would do that until I could get her to even just like calm down and fall asleep on my chest, and then I would like slowly lay down and like transfer her to Cyndel without waking her up so that she could nurse and like stop screaming because she was so colicky to the point where sometimes she would like refuse to nurse.
yeah.
And then by that time, Levine was usually waking up, ready to nurse again.
Yeah. It was a long night.
So is Lennox really good at sleeping through all of that?
Yeah,
At
at
then,
that
yeah,
age,
yeah,
yeah.
at that age, she was pretty good at it.
I mean, you all have overcome, you both have overcome so much, not only as individuals, but as parents. And it seems like you really have worked together to figure out how to respectfully raise your children together and in a way that works for you. And I know that there are probably still days where, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so hard and so challenging. But to be able to have that support person beside you, it just does sounds like, you know, it makes it easier, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I have something to compare it to, so I can appreciate it even more.
There is that. um so how has this journey shaped how you see yourselves, not just as parents but as partners?
Mm,
Like, I don't know, it kind of feels like we could almost accomplish anything now together, as long as we're able to like communicate with each other, because there's always a way to build a system that'll work and like be able to create like a teamwork environment or whatever where we can figure it out somehow. Whether it's like a not necessarily 50-50, but like figure out a way to split the load of whatever's happening to make it work out. And parenting has proven that we can pretty well almost do anything.
yeah. I kind of I forget a lot, like everything that we've gone through or even everything that we know. Like the amount of like knowledge I have in regards to stuff. And I'll just like even if I'm surrounded by parents, I kind of just like take in what's happening around me because people don't like unsolicited advice. So I just exist in their presence. But then I remember how much I actually know, and I like, um, I don't know, I'm kind of like at war with myself when I'm like, do I say something? Do I offer them this advice? So because I genuinely forget how much I know and how much like new parents, for example, like are not given the information that they should be by like their medical providers or even like family and friends. And there's so much information out there that contradicts actual evidence-based stuff. So yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, no, like I know stuff. Like I promise you, like
You do.
you want to check my resume. Like it's I know mom stuff. This is where I like flourish, I guess. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is hard to determine, but you have wisdom,
mhm,
right? And you have passion, and you're not coming about this in a way that is um in a way that you're marketing something. You're coming across as support and
mhm.
offering information that may make their lives a little easier.
It also depends on the audience.
That too.
Some people love it. Like, so I'll try to like drop little things like, oh, how do you plan on feeding your baby? And if they're like, I would never breastfeed, like bottle as soon as they're born, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just
Not gonna give
good,
advice
good
there.
for you. And then I kind of like move about my life. But if somebody's like, oh, I'll breastfeed if I can, is
Hmm.
that usually the thing you hear from first time moms is that I'll breastfeed if I can or if my body allows it. And then I'm like, well, I've got news for you. And then I kind of like say a few things and I'm like, if you need anything, like these are the things that I'm capable of helping you with. And some people will come back and ask for help and have questions, and some people had no interest in it from the beginning. So I'm it can go either way. Or some people ask for all the information, I give it to them, and then they
Ignore
ignore it
it.
and become upset with me and say that I was pushing breastfeeding. I'm like, I tried. Like,
Sure. But it sounds like you're going through the process of being a family, being parents has empowered you.
oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely like it's a confidence booster for sure, I'd say. Yeah.
Well, even like especially knowing our kids, like, and that sounds, I don't know how that sounds, but it's like watching our kids and like even having a conversation with them, I'm like, oh, I've done a good job. Like I'm doing all right here. Like when they like
Check us sometimes.
yeah,
We're
like
like,
or like
stop being judgmental. You shouldn't do that. And they're like, oh, I guess we
Oh.
raised you really good. And we're like, it's so hard sometimes. I'm trying.
yeah, no, like and they're just like so like we have probably the most empathetic kids like and even like yeah we get overwhelmed and we get stressed and we're like oh like this parenting thing is hard and then we go to like I don't know a kid's birthday party where we have to deal with like other people's children and I'm like no I like ours are good I'm gonna appreciate you a little more for at least the rest of the day because I'm so overstimulated by all these other children um but yeah, the best way to appreciate our kids is to
Be around
be
others.
around other kids. And then I realize how good of a job I've done. We've done. We did it
Yeah.
together. Not just
There you
me.
go.
It's funny because I hear you, and at first I was like, wow, you were both like superhumans. And then I hear you say that sometimes it gets hard. And I'm like, okay, so they're normal. This
Yeah.
is normal. It's normal to hear that, right? Because I'm just hearing like, I know how amazing your kids are. I see them online and I hear all these wonderful stories. And then, but to also hear that it is hard,
Oh yeah.
even with the supports that you have together, it still can be challenging.
Well, like no that's also the thing. Like online we put the best parts. Like I'm not
Years.
gonna post like today was another hard day. Like some people do, and like I'm happy that people can get their supports that way. I just don't really that
Barely have the
often.
energy
Yeah,
to
I'm
deal with
tired
what's
from dealing
happening
with
in the
them.
moment, let alone
Yeah.
post about it.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of struggles that come with it. Three kids who need to be in three places, and then pretty much all of us are neurodivergent. I'm chronically ill and disabled, and then we have to like yeah, it's life is hectic, but we love them and they're gonna turn out to be great people, and
That's the goal.
that's the goal.
That's the goal. It is. That is the
Trying to raise
goal.
good humans despite all the other stuff that enters our life sometimes.
What do you wish that more people knew or understood about induced lactation and shared nursing, especially within like a two-mom family?
Um, I mean, like everyone should, I think, almost know that it is possible, and um, to try to ignore like all the like naysayers or like the taboo thoughts of things because you're both still their parents, no matter who carried. You both are able to nurse. Like wet nurse it used to be a thing, right? Like a wet nurse where
Thing.
it is, but yeah, like not as common, right? Where why not? If you have somebody who's able to make milk and is able to come and help support you, what does it matter? They're just feeding a baby. Like there's so many options out there with if you're able to induce lactation and like co-nurse that it might seem like a bit of a challenge at first, but in the end it will make your lives easier. But yeah, that's my
Good
2 cents.
And I know Cyndel mentioned that you both waited until your milk supply had been established before even kind of opening up that idea to co-nursing, even though I know that you did say Cyndel would latch just once a day, kind of just for that bonding experience and to help. So that's a good point, is to make sure that milk supply had been established, and obviously that came from all the research that you did before.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's also one like I think that it's something important for like other two mom families to know would also be the struggle of go like whether nursing or not, the struggle of having a child that's not biologically yours and the struggle to figure out how to connect with them is really big in like that community. Like a lot of people struggle with that bond. Um and knowing that you can nurse and that you can both kind of be that like
Like
provide
nourishment.
that for your child is like that made all the difference for me. Um And I could definitely help a lot of other parents in similar situations.
Yeah. Do you have a final message that you could share with other 2S LGBTQIA plus parents who are thinking about breastfeeding, chest feeding, or co-nursing?
Um, like if it's a thought, figure it out, do some research. There's so many resources out there and people you can get in touch with. Cyndel being one of them. Like she's the leader of the um online to LGBTQ2S plus La Leche League Canada group. So she's got all the knowledge in her head, even though she thinks that she forgets most of it, she doesn't. It's all there.
It's there.
She just needs to have a little bit of faith in herself. And yeah, there's so many resources out there. Just don't be afraid to ask for help because there's so many families who are either in your situation or a similar situation who can give you help. And the best thing about our community is we all love to support each other. And why not ask for help? Because that's what we want to see. We want to see happy families who are making it. So yeah.
I would definitely say, if you're thinking about it, my information is online and I will just send you the information. The information is there, but it's faster if I just give it to you.
I love what you said, though, that you just want to raise happy families, right?
Exactly.
I love that. So I just want to thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourselves, your story. Um, it's very personal and it's full of heart. So I really appreciate you taking the time and your experience. It's going to help expand what's possible and reminds us that feeding our babies is more than just milk. It's that connection, it's that intention and the love that you have for them and for each other, because it's so obvious, even just having this conversation with you two, to see that love for each other. So thank you so
Hey,
much for taking your time and chatting with me.
of
No
course, thanks for
problem.
having us.
Amazing. Well, I hope you all have a lovely Pride Month.
Hey, thanks.
And I'll put your information in the bio below, and so everyone who needs some support from you, Cyndel, can reach out and get your support.
Sounds great.
Amazing.